Welcome, welcome. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org, and I want to go through the markets. If you're here for some Elliott wave analysis of the financial markets, then you're in the right place. So that always takes a little bit out of me when I have to get that out. Anyway, so I'm going to go through the markets from an Elliott wave perspective and a bit of technical analysis. I'm going to give you my thoughts, my 2 cents on where we stand vis-a-vis the current patterns. Okay, so let's get into the dollar crosses first. Okay, this is euro dollar. This is a 4-hour chart. I suppose I should go to this weekly chart here. Here is the overall pattern from this is a weekly perspective. I'm tracking a triangle here in wave B. You can see wave A down into the 2016 lows, and ever since then we've had this contracting range of action, and I think it's a triangle. There is a possibility that we have a wave. First of all, in terms of the triangle, we have wave C complete, and we're working on wave D, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then we'll have another further range contraction in wave E, and then we'll finish wave B and then head down again. So you can see the overall pattern here, a narrowing of the range until we decline then again in wave C. There is a possibility, as per the alternate count here, that we have wave C within a flat correction. So this could be some sort of a fourth wave move here, and then we pop above 125.60 again in wave 5 of C. So far, that's not well. It's not completely without grounds. There's definitely a possibility that's what's going on here, but we will have to see how that kind of plays out over the next, I suppose, next few weeks. Okay, let's move down. This is the 4-hour count. You can see this wave D here in brackets is made up of a 3-wave pattern. At a minimum, I would like to see a break 117. We're almost there. We've come down a fair bit. We've come to 500 points now over the last few weeks. Well, actually, gosh, it's nearly 2 months now. Actually, it's taken a while to come on. You can see this is probably we're getting towards that oversold level now. And you can see there's a divergence already happening on the 4-hour chart here. So we're close to the end here, but I would like to see another dip, even down as far as 116 to complete wave C of D, and then we'd work higher in wave E. Go to the hourly chart here. You can see I'm tracking a possible fourth wave of wave C with the outlook for another decline in wave. I'll show you wave 5 here, with a 5-wave decline left in wave 5 to complete wave C. The fourth wave, it's we've gone pretty much nowhere for the last, almost 2 weeks now. We just kind of dragged sideways. It's still viewed within the lens of a fourth wave correction. It's definitely corrective action. We don't have any, swap to upside momentum yet. The pattern I think still stands. Maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe it's a triangle. Maybe it's some sort of building triangle in wave 4, and maybe we're gonna see further contraction over the next few days to complete wave 4. I kind of prefer the idea of an expanded flat wave 4 here, and then in that case we'd push towards 118.80 again before falling in wave 5. But we'll see how it turns out. I can't rule anything in or anything out really at the moment, so kind of stuck in limbo until the market actually does something to tell us where it's going. For next week, I would like to see wave 5 complete, and then we'd start work on wave E to the upside in terms of that triangle. Okay, so pound dollar. We are inching towards this alternate count here. I will admit that without prejudice. We may have a 5-wave pattern complete at 1 higher degree here in wave 1, and then we're working on some sort of a correction higher in wave 2, with this week's action being wave A of this 2. So let's get into the hourly count here, and I'll show you what I mean. So, as per the main count, I suppose we still have the possibilities that we have a 1-2-1-2 underway here, but the fact that we have a reasonable 5-wave pattern into this week's low, and we have a pretty impulsive looking move off that low so far, it does kind of split it 50-50 as to where this count goes yet next. I'm not ruling out this alternate count here at all. So we could see a larger 3-wave pattern higher, excuse me, in wave 2 to complete next week. Interestingly enough, this wave 2 would most likely target around that previous 4th wave high, so that'd be 139, possibly as high as 140 if we get that larger wave 2 pattern. We'll see how it goes. I'm viewing this just as, it's a developing correction. I don't think there's much you can do regards to trading this, because it's just going to be quite choppy if it is that correction. Okay, let's move on. This is pound dollar, or sorry, dollar yen. Now, there is also a heavy hint, let's say, this week that there is something brewing here in dollar yen. We do have a 3-wave decline off the recent high. Now, at the moment, the main, let's say, working thesis is the idea that we've got an A, B, C expanded flat tracing out in wave 2, and the target for that is probably below 107, maybe close to 106 when complete. And you can see that that's not unreasonable at all. Now, the alternate idea is that we have a possible wave 1 and 2 to begin wave 3, begin a larger wave 3 up underway here. So the fact that we've got 3 waves down this week is a reasonable hint in that direction. We can still track this week's action as, the last few weeks' action as wave 1 down, an A, B, C, expanded flat wave 2. We're almost there with that interpretation now anyway. But I ain't going to rule out the idea that we have actually a significant low in place at 109.06. If that's the case, that's the alternate wave 2 low, and we are heading higher impulsively next week. A lot will depend early next week to see if we get another decline in an impulsive fashion to begin a 3rd wave down. If we do, then this main count gets validated pretty much, and we can look forward to that lower target somewhere later on, somewhere towards the middle of August. Okay, let's move on to the stock market. Here, I'm going to start with the daily count in the stock market. You all know for the last while that I've been tracking a 5th wave. This can still be viewed as a B wave, to be quite honest. This could be a B wave, like false high, let's say. All right, it's made a new high, but it could be a B wave high before we fall in a C wave. So this could be an A, B, C in terms of an expanded flat. If it is an expanded flat, then we can expect easily somewhere down below 15,000 for wave C to complete. In terms of the main pattern here, as for a 5-wave rally, well, okay, where do we start? Yeah, let's get into 4-hour chart, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking about this final move up here in a 1/5 of a 1/5. Now here's the 4-hour count. Here's wave 5 red that I was just looking at, and here is wave 5 blue, which would be the 5th of the 5th. Now today I am surprisingly I'm switching to something a little more bearish. Would you have guessed that, do you think? Most likely. Okay, so let me just explain to you what I'm thinking here. So we have into, let's say, the November lows last year, we have a pretty reasonable ABC fourth wave correction. Now, off that November low, what has happened since then is nothing short of quite astounding. Yet, the action is less than favorable. It's been very choppy to the upside. Now, I had been working on an ending diagonal for the longest time, probably into the highs in May. And that pattern did call for a return lower, and we did get a return lower, but that ended up being a corrective three-wave decline, and we have retraced that again. Now, let me show you where I'm thinking right now. We've got another larger ending diagonal, but we've got three waves up in one. Let me get a so ABC up in one, ABC down in two, ABC up in three, ABC down in four, and now ABC up in five. Now here's where it gets very interesting. You can see this Fibonacci grid here. This 100% marks the height of the wave one, the initial wave one off the November lows. So here we have a high projected at 34,878. We actually topped out at 35, just over 35,000 in wave three. So we have wave one and wave three pretty much bang on equal in this case. Interestingly enough, we would expect wave five to be smaller. Now we have a three-wave pattern rallying again in wave five, and we are targeting the 50% area, 50% of the wave one length. So that gives us a target of 35,640. If this ABC pattern up is correct, then we should hit 35,640 in or around. In fact, if we just break to a new high, that'll do it. It doesn't need any higher than that. But I'll go into the hourly count here, and I will show you what I'm thinking in terms of that hourly count. Okay, so let's finish the hourly chart here. We've got a pretty reasonable five-wave pattern higher in wave A of 5. We've got an expanded flat wave B of 5, and this last week's decline. You will forgive me for thinking that was the end of the affair here, and this 1,000-point decline was the beginning of something else. But obviously, the market had a little bit more in it than I would care for it to have. But it is what it is. That's what we live and learn. Eh? We've got A up in ABC, expanded flat wave, B down, higher low, and now a five-wave pattern developing again in wave C. The trend channel for wave 5 would suggest a high somewhere around 35.3, 350, 350 maybe. The 100% of wave A, if we take the wave A length and we project it off the wave B low, that'll give us a target at 35,557. So let's call it 35,560. And the 4-hour target gives us 35,640. So we've got 35,560, 35,640. A cluster of targets there. 35,640. Pretty close cluster of targets there. Let's get the 4-hour count again. You see the 50% mark gives us 35,650. Call it 35,650. The A equals C on wave 5 green gives us 35,560. So a 100-point margin for error there. Quite narrow when you're talking about 35,000 odd points. Forgive me for thinking that that's something that we should be watching out for here. I know we've been kind of looping through different or cycling through different counts by the new time here over the last couple of weeks, but the extension of an extension that this market is in now, we know that it's very close to the end of this pattern. Whatever pattern it is actually tracing out here, we know that it's very close to the end of this pattern. And this may well be the one that nails this market completely. So next week, here I am on, let's say, Apocalypse Watch. Okay, let's move on. This is gold. We go to the 4-hour count. Let's shift the charts forward a bit. Here's the 4-hour count. I don't know why my charts aren't saving these days. Is that happening to anybody else in MetaTrader, where charts just don't save the changes that you've done? Anyway, here is the possible fourth wave scenario that I'm working with here. Still looking for somewhere between 1670, below 1670 to complete this final fourth wave, wave C of 4. And let's get into the hourly count here, and we'll show you what I'm talking about here for this C wave. The alternate count is still, it's reasonably viable, that we have a wave 1 and 2 pattern underway. I'm not throwing it out just yet, but I do favor one last line again to kind of shake out everything that's been going on in this market. We do have a little spike lower to a small lower height this today. That's Friday, and we had a little momentary break below 1800 again. So, we can start pointing fingers towards the downside again if this is the case. Possible 5-wave pattern lower here in wave 1. That'd be like wave 1, 2, 3, running flat wave 4 and 5. Or else a wedge lower in wave 1. Hard to know if wave 2 is complete yet, or we're going to see some sort of challenge of that downward sloping trend line again before we complete that wave 2 and down into wave 3 again. Suffice to say, I'm still looking for that 5th wave down. A break of that 1670 area would be pretty good in terms of completing the much larger pattern. And at that point, I would have no problem at all suggesting that people start, looking at the long side for gold. For now, I'm just not there yet. The alternate count does suggest that maybe we are working on a smaller degree of 1-2 here. If that's the case, we should see a pretty rapid turn up next week. If we don't get that turn up, then we are actually tracing down wave 5. So, keep an eye out for that. It's actually raining outside. It hasn't rained here in 2 weeks. We've actually been, it's so funny, we've been stifling in like 30-degree heat for the last 10 days now, and I have to say I'm kind of over it at this point. So today's rain is actually welcome. Woohoo! I do feel for my brothers and sisters over there in Germany and Belgium and even China. You guys are really suffering some serious floods, and it does put things into perspective. If we don't know the day nor the hour that we're going to be wiped out. People were asleep in their beds and their houses just got tumbled in on top of them. So, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, it's about time you do. Okay, let's get back to crude oil. And I'm finished welcoming the rain back to Ireland again. Okay, so wave 3, I'm tracking wave 3, 4, 5. There's still a possibility that wave 5 in green is done already at the recent high, but this week's rebound again does kind of fly in the face of a corrective move, and the fact that we had a pretty reasonable 3-wave pattern lower into last week's low, or early this week's low. Was it 20? Yeah, this Monday's low. So we could be looking at a wave 1 of 5 tracing out here. Let's get into the short-term charts and I'll show you. Oh, sorry, wave 5 is what I'm looking at here. So we have a wave 4 low. You can see 3 waves down, wave 4. The reason I switched to this kind of short-term bullish count would be the fact that we broke that previous wave A low. That was the big no-no earlier on this week. A break of that low 70s wave A, and that kind of ruled out the impulsive pattern lower. So we'll have to see how that kind of plays out from here. But it looks like we've got a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pattern higher in wave 5 of C of B. Let's give it another week and see if we can top that out too. Okay, let's move on. The S&P and silver. I'll take a look at Bitcoin as well then on top of that. Okay, S&P 4-hour count. I'm looking again at that ending diagonal that I just showed you in the Dow. So unless it's some sort of expanded wedge here, which would be the same thing, it's just the pattern actually expands rather than contracts. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 underway. We broke just today this evening to a new high. It's possible that this is well, it looks more impulsive. It looks more like a 5-wave pattern for now. So I'm calling this wave A of wave 5. Sorry, I have to get a fifth wave in there that I haven't done. Let me clean this chart up a bit. Talk amongst yourselves. If that's even, no, it's not even possible. Hey, sorry about that. Okay, so we've got, let me show you this 5-wave expanding wedge that I'm looking at. Wave A, again off the May low. Sorry, that's the May low of wave 4. We've got an ABC up in wave 1. We've got an ABC down in wave 2. We've got an ABC up in wave 3. We've got an ABC down in wave 4, and we've got an ABC probably underway here, with wave A topping out pretty soon. This does allow, let's say, for more upside next week. We'll see. We will see. If we break that 4th wave low again, that will probably call into question a further high. But like I said, cycling through these ending patterns here I know it's become kind of mind-boggling and numbing over the last months, but every market, no tree grows to the sky, and no wave continues to crest forever. I mean, every wave will crash on the shore, so will this one. Okay, let's move on. This is silver. Still looking for a fall below 21, complete a second wave in silver. We're not quite there yet. Looking for 5 waves down in this wave C here. So I'll go to the hourly count here, and you can see where I stand on that one. I think we've got wave 3, 4 as a triangle, and then maybe we're working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in wave 5. That will easily bring us, if we're in an extended 5th wave, that will easily bring us down to the 21 handle again. And we would then look for wave 2 to complete, and we'd head higher than in wave 3. So we're approaching a pretty serious long-term low here in silver. So don't lose hope just yet. I mean, it has been down for a reasonable amount of time now, but we're approaching the end of this pattern. So keep your powder dry. We will find a better point, I think, for going long in silver here. Okay, so Bitcoin, I swapped accounts this week after kind of poring over them for a while. I think off the all-time high, that's 63,000 mental high. Ugh, silly, but that's beyond me. I'm not commenting on that anymore. We've got, I think we've got 5 waves down within wave A. And this sideways move over the last while is most likely some sort of a flat wave B. We've got a range to work on here. The previous 4th wave is 41,200, call it. We could see a challenge of that 41,200 before heading lower into wave C again. So it'll be the general idea is an ABC pattern up in wave B. You can see that ABC pattern here. We've got 3 waves up in A. We've got A, B, and C. 3 waves down, most likely in wave B. Slight higher low. Fit within a trend channel suggests at least 37,000 probably for wave B to complete, or sorry, wave C of B to complete. So we're looking for 5 waves up over the next couple of weeks to complete wave C of B, and then we'll turn the focus to the downside again in wave C. Okay, that is that. I have gone through the markets there. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you find it interesting and useful. Plagiarize the charts there if you want to, but If you do want nightly analysis, come on over to the website and check out the membership options on the website. That's bullways.org, and go to the membership options page or the prices page and check that out. I do have to give myself a plug now and again. I am, in theory, running a business here. Apart from that, the most important thing is, you don't want to get wiped away in a flood and find yourself flooded in hell. So, get right with the Lord. Follow that 3-step rule there. None of us, again, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, that, most of us think of the end of our life as way out in front of us, whereas we are actually walking alongside the end of our life. Every step you take every day could be the last step that you actually take. So it would be good, for you and your eternal soul to kind of get right with the Lord before turning down into your final decline, before shuffling off this mortal coil. If you get right with the Lord, you have an eternity of happiness and joy to look forward to. Good Lord, don't you need it in this world? They're coming after us all, kids. They're coming after us all. Nobody's going to be safe from the tyrants. They're all ganging up on us now. So it's time to get right. Okay, and apart from that, I wish you all a nice weekend. God bless you all, and I pray that you have a real awakening this weekend and come back refreshed next week to tackle whatever the world throws at us. Okay, God bless. Be good. I'll see you members tonight on the website, and I will see everybody else most likely next week in YouTube. Unless you join the website. Come join the website, and then you can actually see me tonight, and Monday night, and Tuesday night, and Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and Friday night, and Saturday night, and Sunday night, every night.